Anybody that knows me very well knows that this is one of my favorite foods. It's a hot dog. In fact, this month's Uniquely Bristol is all about the dogs. Hello everybody, I'm Mark Thomas, and you found Uniquely Bristol, the show about Bristol's hometown values and hidden gems. It's brought to you each month by the Bristol Development Authority, the BDA, and shown on Nutmeg TV. Now this hot dog, this is special. It comes all the way to Bristol from Hollywood, and you can get it only here at Lake Compounce. And then a little bit later on, we're going to talk about how we're going to keep your dogs safe during these hot summer months. I have to eat this now, though. Oh. If you've been in Bristol very long, summer just isn't complete unless you visited one of the city's main attractions, Lake Compounce. It's the oldest continuously operating amusement park in North America, having its genesis before the Civil War. The park has invested millions in recent years, and today is even more beautiful than ever. Among other famous attractions, Lake Compounce is home to dozens of rides, food vendors, games, and even a water park to keep cool in the hot Bristol summer. Jerry Brick supervises all this fun. What's the park's secret?
It actually started in 1846.
Wow.
So we're on our 172nd season, about 15 years before the Civil War. And when it was built, obviously I wasn't around at that time, but we try to keep it very basic. We focus on cleanliness, we focus on safety, and just guest service. If you could do those things, the rest of the business plan will fall into place, and then growth will happen, and you just see the park grow as you take care of those. But those are the staples that we do.
So give us an overview of the park. It's 2018. You've got a lot of rides, a water park. Give us kind of an overview.
We have 33 rides, wow, and we have about 15 water attractions. We have shows, we have different events and festivals, but it's come a long way even in the 22 years that I've been here, but it allows us to keep thinking of different things and improving and making things better for the upcoming years.
And you always seem to have something new, whether it's a ride or a show. So what's new for 2018?
Well, 2018, a lot of it was internal work.
Okay.
We had a lot of sewer work to do.
Got to keep them running.
Last year the Wildcat was 90 years old, and we started taking it apart, and we spent millions of dollars on the Wildcat, and it never fully got open last year, so we put the rest of the money back into that. But the thing that we're doing new this year is we've worked with the Fred Rogers Company.
Okay.
And we have a show called Daniel Tiger's Graphic Day,
yeah,
and we have the Daniel Tiger character along with Katarina Kitty Cat, and that show is going to start on Memorial Day weekend and run through the summer to Labor Day.
Another thing that I think is perfect about Lake Compounce is you can be 3 years old and enjoy the park in your way, or you can be our age. How do you kind of segment those rides and keep it that way?
Well, as you're looking at new attractions,
right,
and as we do, you want to make sure, yes, you need the roller coasters and the thrill rides, you need the water rides, but what about those rides that maybe grandma and grandpa would ride with their grandchildren?
Sure.
So you're trying to make sure that you really cover a lot of the family spectrum, and that's always the challenge. It's
sure,
not an easy task, but if it were easy, I think everybody would be doing it. But we try to make sure that we're always inclusive of the families when we can. But every once in a while, yeah, we got to put in a roller coaster, we got to put in a kiddie ride and gear towards a different age.
I don't think a lot of people, it is a business. You've got to make some money. You wouldn't be around since the 1800s if you didn't, because the entertainment dollar, people are more discretionary. What are some of the little things? I know that you have the most reasonable and value-based ticket prices, but what are some of the other things that people come to Lake Compounce that's only at Lake Compounce?
Well, you try to make offerings that they can't get locally. Right. One of the things that we've done is we've worked hard with we started working with some franchises. We have Pink's Hot Dogs out of Hollywood, California. We were the first location on the East Coast, and they were in Vegas and they were over at Cedar Point, but they came to Little Old Lake Compounce, and now we have the hot dog to Hollywood. Or we have camping now. We have a campground, and people are staying, and they're coming to the park. So we're trying to make sure that there's enough for the whole family to do, and people want to travel and come to the park.
Another thing that I think that Lake Compounce does really well are kind of like special events. You had a food truck festival last year. What are some of the events that we can look forward to this year?
Well, the food truck festival will be back.
Good.
That's coming back this summer, and we also have we do a Polish festival with the Polish American Congress out of New Britain, where they do dancers and some Polish food, and we have Of course, our haunted graveyard, which is always a good time during October.
Right.
Then the park opens up during December for our holiday lights, and most people don't realize that because we're still relatively new in that market.
Right.
But it's just the kids' rides, it's the train, it's the carousel.
It's almost 12 months a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is now, because by the time we're done cleaning in late January, we start hiring again for the next year.
You said you've been here 22 years. I know that you've been in the business longer than that. What are some of the changes and the things that you've experienced that you just never thought it'd be like this?
Well, back in the 80s, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have internet tickets. We didn't have, there were a lot of things that weren't around, even to the rides. Our newer rides, they're hooked up to a modem, and
Wow.
the manufacturers can go into the rides no matter where they are, whether it's Germany, the US, and they can look into our rides and help us out if we're having issues with it. So it's come a long way than what it was 30-something years ago.
You mentioned something that's really important, and you know, it is a 1 in 2 or 3 million on an accident, but your safety record here at Lake Compounce is kind of unmatched. What are some of the things that you do each year and during the summer season to keep everybody safe?
Well, besides what we have to do, what's required by the manufacturer and the state,
Right.
you know, obviously we're putting a lot of effort into it because at the end of the day, it's our reputation, it's my reputation, it's our team, our full-time team, it's their reputation, and we work hard on it. And to be honest, if there's any question about any ride that we're unsure of, we won't open it until we get it right. And during their inspections every day, they go through and maybe we're looking at something or we see something.
So you do inspections every day. That's got to make a parent and a grandparent very comforting.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So every one of our rides is inspected every day before we open. And before, you know, we open up the coasters, our carpenters are walking the wooden coasters. We're doing a lot of prep work in the mornings prior to the park opening so we can have it ready for the day.
You're a big employer. You're very important to Bristol. Tell us a little bit about your workforce, how many that you employ, and you really employ all ages, don't you?
Yeah, we have 50 full-time year-round people
Right.
on our staff, and then we hire almost 1,400 seasonals, and out of that we have 16 to 23 is a big chunk of it, but we also have senior citizens that work here. We have people that maybe they work as a school teacher, and then they come and work for us part-time during the summer. I know we have plenty of school teachers that work here, but we may have people that are bus drivers or,
Sure.
or do other jobs where in the summer they have a little more free time and they come in to work extra income for themselves, and it really helps out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about ticket pricing, packages, things that we should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, no, we offer different packages on different days.
Sure.
Just like anybody else. If somebody asked me, it would be like an airline, the price would change. But, you know, we have stay and play packages with our campground. If you're local, the best deal is the season pass. In the season pass, they go on sale is before the season ends.
Right.
We're selling them for the next year. But typically, if we sell them on Black Friday, that's our cheapest price.
Right.
But we also have payment plans online for those if they want to try to cut the payments down. As we all know, you know, nobody wants to get that big bill up front, so
No.
we can cut the payments down for them. We have that available only online. But that is our best deal because it's usually less than 2 visits for either a summer pass or a platinum pass.
Pays for itself if you go more than once anyway, which if you're in this area, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah. Well, you and I know kids get hungry, adults get hungry. What I like is you've got a lot of different choices for food here too, don't you, Jerry?
We do. Our food team, they work really hard. Our food operation is a big operation,
I bet.
and we offer everything from, you know, your basic chicken tender and fries to natural cut fries to our franchises with Johnny Rockets, Dunkin' Donuts, and you know, we have Pink's in the park as well. So we have a lot of different foods, and every year we're updating our menus and changing our menus.
If you want to know more about Lake Compounce, the rides, the ticket prices, and actually purchase, well, where should they go?
Go to our website, and it's www.lakecompounce.com, and that should give you all the information that you need.
So if somebody wants to call out here, let's say they have a specific question they didn't get answered on the website, or maybe somebody's out here that they need to contact, what's the phone number that would be good for that?
They're going to want to call 860-583-3300, and that we'll be able to help them out at that point.
Well, you know, this show is about hidden gems. Lake Compounce isn't hidden, but it is a gem, Jerry. Have a great summer, and we sure appreciate you here in Bristol.
Hey, thank you very much. We appreciate being here.
Welcome to Bristol. Nestled in the heart of Connecticut, just 2 hours from Boston, New York, and an hour from the shoreline, Bristol offers a unique New England experience.
City size with small town vibe, you'll fit in no matter your pace.
As a community, we're rich with history, overflowing with passion, and ripe with experiences to enjoy. Beyond the rolling hills of Connecticut, that's where you'll find the magic of Bristol.
With an incredible 700 plus acres of park systems,
inspiring museums and cultural programs,
and the oldest operating amusement park in North America.
Our arts and entertainment will color you convinced.
And local food and drink establishments to keep you excited, satisfied, and always savoring more.
Community events that leave a lasting memory.
We really do have it all.
Plus, we're a community that honors the brave.
a community that offers top-tier sports and recreation.
And world-class accommodations to suit every style.
But what if you wanted to stay even longer?
Well, there's neighborhoods to pair with any personality.
And places for all kinds of producers.
Top-rated school systems.
Ways to make an impact.
And plenty of places to worship.
So whether you're vacationing,
Passing through,
or staying a little longer,
bring your heart to Bristol. Our heart is always open to your experiences. Bristol, Connecticut.
All heart.
Summer's especially hard on pets. Hot weather can take its toll quickly on our four-legged friends. One of the newest pet service businesses in Bristol is Wolfpack. There are a lot of things pet owners need to pay attention to during the summer. General Manager Dawn Cassina says there's some definite signs when your pet is in distress. So Dawn, we've already almost gotten to 90 and we know that the hotter days are coming. How can you tell when a pet, especially a dog, is in distress, and what are some of the things that you as a pet parent can take into consideration to make sure that they're safe?
Excessive panting is like a major thing. Usually the tongue off the side of the mouth as opposed to the front is another indicator that they're starting to get a little hot, a little overheated. Difficulty breathing, increased heart rate, increased respiratory rate. Some dogs vomit, seizures, drooling, weakness are basically some signs that you can tell.
So how
right
can
away.
you tell the difference like between difficulty breathing and panting? Is it just one is more to the extreme, or how can you tell?
Yeah, definitely. Way more extreme. The panting is very heavy. I don't really want to demonstrate
Right, yeah.
the panting.
Yeah.
But you could tell the difference between like the dogs, like a normal pant, because dogs pant all the time. That's how they regulate their body temperature.
Right.
So you could definitely tell the difference if the panting is a lot heavier, it's a lot deeper. You could see it more in the chest with the breathing. So that's definitely a good way to tell.
Okay, so we know that they've been outside and they may be on that borderline. What are some of the first things that we need to do?
Get them in the shade or get them inside to a cooler area. You can apply like ice packs or cold towels to the back of the neck, the chest, and the head. Don't ever run them under cold water.
Oh, wow, okay.
Cool water is okay. And get them to a vet immediately.
Let's say you've let them out and you've let them kind of run around and now you know they're in a little bit of trouble. What are some of the things that pet owners should have around the house in case there is an emergency?
Well, you want to have your basic first aid stuff like gauze, antiseptic, like a Neosporin type of thing, tweezers, like an old credit card or something to be able to remove a stinger.
Splinter or some of it. Like we're in a lot of wooded area here. I'm sure that sticks get in, I know my dog's paws quite a bit like that. And so what are some of the other things you might have?
Benadryl's a good thing to keep on hand in case they get stung by a bee.
Just like right across the counter?
Yep,
oh, okay.
Regular over-the-counter Benadryl. Just double check with your vet as far as dosage.
Right.
Hydrogen peroxide is another good thing to have because it can induce vomiting if the dogs were to ingest something that they shouldn't, like a toxin that is not good for them. But again, don't just do it on your own. Do it under the direction of like poison control or your vet.
So what are some of the things like, I know that a lot of people I see, they'll go on a trail hike or they're going to have the dog run beside them or something like that. What are some of the handy things that if you're going to kind of go on a little nature trail or something like that you should take with you?
I would definitely have water, fresh, clean water for them. some sort of portable bowl for them to drink out of.
Which are very common. I mean, you can find
you
those
can
anywhere.
clip-on ones, you can clip them right to your pack.
Right.
If you can keep some type of like ice pack or like cooling pack with you, would be a good idea just in case, you know, they start to overheat and you're way out.
Now, one
somewhere.
of the things you'd said is you don't dunk them. Would it be a good idea? Because I know, like, if you're a runner or walker, you might have just a damp or a wet wash rag. Is that something you'd recommend to have if you were doing that?
Yep. You could use that with some type of cool rag because it could help cool them down while you have to give you a little bit of extra time to get them to a vet. But also on really, really hot days, I don't recommend taking them on long hikes or jogs or anything like that because you don't want to overwork them in the heat because that can just lead to the heat exhaustion or the heat stroke more.
So there's a lot of ponds and lakes in our area. Let's say you're outside. Is there any danger of them going ahead and getting in the pond or the lake or anything if it's hot like that?
No, I wouldn't see it. I would just be really careful because not all dogs can swim.
That's right.
So that was, you know, like pool safety, pond safety, water safety is a big thing. They do sell life jackets, like a little inflatable like vest that dogs can wear if they're going to be
swim
going
with
out.
them. That'd be fun, yeah.
If you're going to put them out in the pond or a pool.
So we're in the middle of summer. A lot of people are starting to think about their vacations or ready to go on their vacations. And let's say you're going on a road trip or one that you can travel with your pet. What are some of the good advices of you know, how to keep them safe and things that you need to bring, and you know, how much should they you know, get out and run around?
Okay, traveling with pets is like, it's always been, you know, kind of like an iffy subject. Depending on where you're going, I would look for a pet-friendly like hotel or rental, definitely. Locate the nearest emergency vet.
Right.
Just so that just in case something does happen, you know there's one local to where you're going to be staying. I would also recommend looking to see if there's a kennel or a boarding facility nearby where you're staying, just in case your plans change, something happens, and you need to be able to board your pet while you're away.
One of the good things too about a lot of the online booking sites, it actually tells you, because pet tourism is pretty popular. You can really check, does your hotel take them or not?
Yep.
So let's say we're traveling across the country or somewhere else and we're not able to take our pet. What are some of the things if we would have to either put them in a boarding situation? What do you look for? Because I know here at Wolfpack that you all board animals. What are some of the things that you would ask somebody to say, this is a good place for my pet?
I would look for somewhere that's staffed 24/7 so the dogs are never left alone, which we are.
Right.
Climate control, if their staff is first aid CPR certified in pets, is usually, you know, something pretty good. I would recommend a facility that makes sure that they're only accepting dogs that are up to date on their vaccines.
Right.
You know, because some people might kind of try to let it slide a little bit. So I would make sure that definitely up to date on vaccines is a big thing. I mean, you could talk to your neighbors, talk to friends, see where they've left their dogs when they've gone away. You know, do your research.
And you should have one packet, I believe, of all of your medical records, right? Because I think when you check them in to make sure they had their parvo shots, their rabies shots, and all of that thing, keeping that, I guess, kind of like a child, you would have all of those in one space.
Definitely.
So let's say that we want to travel with the pet, but now we're on an airplane. What are some of the things that a pet parent should be advised of and be prepared for?
I would do your research on the airline, because like lately in the news there's been a lot of stories that don't have very good outcomes. I would just do your research on the airline, see how they keep temperatures regulated, you know, make sure that the dogs have water, just to make sure that the airline is taking their precautions to make sure that your pet is safe in the cargo.
I think, and it's just not for summer, but there's a lot of things around our household that are very common to us, but they're very dangerous for a pet. What are some of those?
Oh, there's a lot of things. I mean, in summertime, you want to be careful with pesticides. I mean, they do have pet-friendly ones now. I personally just bought one to spray my yard to try to keep the ticks at bay. Chemicals, pool chemicals, stuff like that outside. Foods. There's a lot of foods that dogs should not ingest. I mean, alcohol is another big one. A lot of people seem to think, oh, I'll give Fido a sip of my beer and he's going to be fine.
A little gin will be just fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it because it can actually make them really sick.
Well, we're in July, and we always talk about fireworks, and
Yes.
just some pets and most dogs, it just seems have an issue with that. What are some of the things that you can do to help them get through that night or the week around the 4th?
Well, with the 4th, with the fireworks, I would leave your pet at home in a safe, secure, escape-free room of your house, part of your house that they won't be able to get out of. If you don't feel comfortable leaving your pets home, you could always try boarding them for the night, because a lot of places get super busy,
Right.
Around the 4th, because a lot of dogs, people are nervous to leave them home. I would not bring them out to the fireworks, because a lot of dogs could get scared, they could run, they'll take off, and then now you have a whole nother fiasco on your hands of how I have to find my dog now.
Right.
Some vets even sedate dogs, because some dogs can't handle it at all,
Right.
but that's all under the supervision of your vet. If it's something you think your dog is going to need to be sedated to survive the night of the fireworks, it's something you could talk to your vet about.
What are some of the services that the Wolfpack have in Bristol?
We have daycare, boarding, grooming, training. We also have the pet taxi.
Now, what's that?
We have Rover. He is
Well, of course.
We call him Rover. He's our van, and we can go pick up your pet for daycare, for boarding. If you're unable to get to us, we can also pick up your pet and bring them to the vet if you need to. I mean, we've had a couple incidences where our clients have had an emergency situation where they've needed a ride to their vet because their dog would just not get in their car. They didn't have enough room in their car.
What a great service.
Yep, and we've picked up their pet, and we've brought them to the vet for them.
There's a trend right now that I think is terrific. I mean, humans are trying to, eat better, but you actually can get, fresh baked things that you offer here at Wolfpack.
Yep, we have a baker. She does all holistic, homemade, fresh to order, baked goods, treats, cakes, cupcakes, really anything. And if you want to do a cake, she can personalize it, happy birthday, with your dog's name, age.
I think another cool thing that you have here, because it's almost like one-stop shopping here at Wolfpack, that you've got a groomer.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about her and what somebody could expect if you've just maybe got a new pup or maybe just a new dog in general about grooming. What could she do for them?
She does everything from just a simple nail trim to a full-service haircut groom, and everything in between. If you just needed a bath, a nail trim, ear cleaning, she can do pretty much everything.
One of the things that I know this time of year, because we're in a very heavily wooded area and our part of the country has a lot of ticks, what's your recommendation on flea and tick remedies? And is it a collar, is it behind their back shoulders, or what do you think?
Me personally, I use the behind the collar,
between the
topical,
shoulder blades.
the topical stuff, and I also use all natural. I make a thing with oils, with a couple different essential oils, and I spray it on them right before we're gonna go hiking, which seems to help a little bit. The collars are really good, the Seresto collars, I know.
Right.
Those work pretty well.
So I find a tick on my dog. What should I do now?
Get it off your dog. You don't want to leave it there.
No, you don't. So a good way to get him off a pet, is it the same as a human?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, they actually have little tick removers that you can get. We have them here just in case, because we are in a very heavily wooded area.
Right.
You just slide it on and it pulls the tick out, head and everything. If you have to use tweezers.
I was going to say the head is you may think you get it out and you really got to, kind of dig through there and get it.
So when you use tweezers, you just have to be careful that you go away, as opposed to pulling the tick the opposite direction that he looks like he's inserted. Go with the same direction to make sure you get the head out.
So people may want to know more information about Wolfpack. What's the phone number and the website?
860-993-1601, and then our website is www.gowolfpack.com.
Well, doggone it, that's the end of our show. We really appreciate you joining us. We want to know what you think. Our email address is marketing@bristolct.gov. If you want to know more about Bristol, just go to our website, www.bristolallheart.com. And of course, we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Until next month, we'll see you then.